another little talk with you on my drive today. It's a short drive, so this broadcast will be short, but I want to mention something cool. I want to tell you a little bit of give you some background to a class that I'm going to do, but talk about it in a way that helps you understand why I'm even doing it in the first place. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Maybe you can give the video a like to help me reach more folks. And go to harmonica123.com to subscribe to the newsletter so I can be in touch with you. Tomorrow I'm sending out a newsletter, and it's really a story about, how the big sort of passing on influences from one person to another, one player to another. And the story that I'm talking about in this case is George Harmonica Smith and William Clark, two great players. William Clark learned a lot and studied with William Clark studied with George Smith, learned a bunch from him, and one of the big takeaways that William Clark had from George Smith was the octaves. And I do a decent amount of private teaching, and often in these lessons I'm watching folks either struggle with the technique of playing octaves, or they are able to play octaves and splits, but they're not sure how to integrate it musically. So I was thinking the other day about George's influence, on William Clark, and just how powerful it was to Clark's sound. And not just on the chromatic, but on the diatonic. And obviously Clark got into more horn-oriented music, and so these octaves filled out his sound and gave him more of that fuller sound you might hear from a horn. The class on Saturday that I want to teach is going to be narrow topic-wise, but deep as far as how we get into it, versus the last class, which was like, let's go through a bunch of ideas and talk about how they work against backing tracks. What I want to do in Saturday's class is help you understand not only the technique for how to play the smaller octaves, but the wider octaves as well that are found on the top of the harmonica on holes 3, 7, 4, 8, 5, 9, and 6, 10 draw. But I want to show you how I'm putting them together in blues licks. So we're going to learn a bunch of octave heavy blues licks, and you can learn about it on my homepage at harmonica123.com and sign up for that class right away if you want. The sale ends on Thursday night. So in the class, I'm going to take you through the licks, and one of the coolest things that I want to do, and this is something you can think about whether you're going to attend the class or not, it's a little something for you to chew on as far as how you're using octaves. It's a huge part of my playing. That's why it's near and dear to me, and I want to do this class to help folks understand how to integrate it and make it sound amazing when you're playing these licks. But one of the things you can chew on or think about is like, which single notes are you utilizing as connection points to the octaves? So in this class, we're going to dissect that. We're going to go into, here's the riff, and look at how it lays out against these particular single notes. I'll give you an example. In second position, one of those single notes is 3 draw, half step bend, or potentially even 3 draw clean, and how that correlates to octaves that are around it, and how we can piece that together to make these cohesive statements to where when you start to mix single notes and octaves and splits, they sound fluid. That's what's missing in most players that I hear in their music, is that when they work on this approach, it's kind of a disconnect. The octaves and splits sound a little disjointed. So if this topic is of interest to you, the coolest thing is that we're narrow on the topic now, and we can just have a blast going through and learning these licks together and talk about the strategy and the technique itself of how this is coming together, why that particular riff works so well. I'm excited to do it. I'll focus on second position. I will throw in a little bit of third and first position to show you how I use octaves and splits in that context. We'll begin the class with an overview of the technique itself, warming up with just getting them to come out. So I'll decode the smaller octaves and splits and the ones that I spoke of earlier, the big wide draw octaves at the top. and then we'll get right into the licks. And instead of me pre-preparing like I always do, the teacher side of me always wants to like pre-prepare licks and have it all written out and then go through them like I've done in prior blues licks classes. No, we're not doing that. The teacher side of me is so tempted to do that. Who knows? I'm trying to say that I won't, and I don't want to. I want it to be organic. So I'll have a document up in class. I'll play a riff. We'll ear train it a couple times, and then we'll work on. We'll just type it out, and at the end we'll have a list of all these cool new ideas, and you can take all of these things, and you'll get the notes afterwards to work on them. Of course, I record all these classes too. It's $20 to get into that class. I'm about as fired up as it gets. As far as classes go, like I get excited about certain topics, but this could be, out of all the blues licks type of classes I've taught, this could be the #1 thing that I'm most excited about. Don't miss this class. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna come fired up and we're gonna learn some really cool things. The greatest part is that these octaves and licks, obviously, I already said it, they fill out your sound. But then you're learning about, once you learn the ideas, I'll put some backing tracks on so you can hear how I'd use it, the riff, in like a slow blues, a medium shuffle, a jump blues, etc. Shifting the context around and the style of music is where it gets really interesting. Because you don't want to just use it in horn lines. You want to use it in all sorts of contexts outside of that. And like I said, if you've listened to my playing over the years, you know it's a really big part of my sound. And that came from William Clark. He's my favorite harmonica player. He was the biggest influence on my playing. There were some very close seconds out there, but he was #1. So, yeah. Octave Heavy Blues Licks class, Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. Everything will be recorded. If you've been wanting to learn more about how to integrate those octaves or how to get them to come out smoother, don't miss this class. It's going to be a good one. And a lot of my classes, the ideas come from you guys. They come from students and working with people out there and seeing what the challenges are and what the struggles are, and then identifying some key ways to help them improve on this topic. Because it's not just about learning the technique. If you learn these techniques and you're not applying them or integrating them, it's a huge disconnect. The most fun is when you put it together and it comes out like the way you hear it in your head. So that's what we are going to do. I cannot wait to work with you in this class. If you want to learn more, go to harmonica123.com. Just look on the homepage, click Learn More. It'll take you to the product. That's all I got. This newsletter goes out tomorrow. If you're not signed up, go to the homepage, harmonica123.com. Sign up for my newsletter, please. Subscribe to this channel. There are so many of you watching my videos that are not subscribers. Come on, just subscribe. And here's the kicker. Especially if you're on a laptop or desktop, this is easier to do. If you'll not only please subscribe, but go to the notifications bell next to the subscribe button and choose all, you'll actually get notified when I go live, when I've posted a new video, all these things. So thanks for tuning in today. It's been a little bit of a announcement, promotion, but really a discussion centered around how technique can really be a detriment and get in the way unless you're learning how to apply it. And you're learning how to actually say something musical with it. We'll start with some easy statements too. Some easy musical licks that, like, hopefully if you can get the part of the technique to come out that a beginner would be like, yeah, you know what? I can make that musical statement. Like, for example, a 3-note statement coming down off the pentatonic scale. There's ways to do that easily. And again, understanding the switch points of when, how, and where to incorporate all the single notes intertwined between those octaves and splits is going to be hopefully part of the epiphany for folks in class. I got to run. I'm staring at some beautiful mountains. Can I turn this around like while I'm going live? I don't want to do it while I'm driving, but like, is there a way for me to do that? I don't think I can. This is my view. I doubt you can really see what's going on in the background, but maybe if you're zooming in. I'm heading west, as you can see, and it's gorgeous out. Y'all make it a good one. I'll see you soon.